Big fight feel here live on Vidane TV. Thank you so much for tuning in here tonight to check out the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group, the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. A little bit of a special event here tonight. The Lord Spotting Services 250 qualifying open here at Oxford Plains. Getting ready for the GNG's Oxford 250. Big race coming up here live also on Vidane TV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. down here in the production trailer. And up on the other side of the racetrack, a stacked booth. We got a whole bunch of guests in here tonight helping us call the action here for the main event of the evening. Aaron Creed, Jeff Brown, John Peters, Tim Terry, and a very special guest, a good friend of John's as well. But Tim, this is going to be exciting here tonight. Lots of drivers trying to qualify themselves into the big Oxford 250 coming up here very shortly.
Corey Casagrande has given them the drivers' meeting to get ready for this one. 2 heats, 15 laps each. Winners are going to transfer directly into the 250 coming up next weekend. And then we're going to have 4 come from the 35-lap feature, all green flag laps tonight. This one should be exciting. And, Aaron, we got some not necessarily new names to sim racing and racing in general, but maybe new names to some of our NEPs fans.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely some ones I've been trying to study as well this week. So it's going to be interesting to see them mixed with the drivers that were on the outside looking in for the top 20 in points here, coming right up here very shortly as I believe qualifying's about to wrap up or has wrapped up.
Just getting wrapped up with qualifying, lining up which heat race these drivers are going to be in and where they're going to be lining up in those heat races. And John, the reigning defending 2-time Grand National Series champ, joining us up here in the booth, already locked in the top 20 in points here for the New England, Pennsylvania Grand National Series, and already locked in. So joining us up here in the booth, how are we doing tonight, John?
I'm doing well, Paul, Tim, Aaron, Jeff. Thanks for having me up here. I'm super excited. I think we're going to see some good, fast-paced, aggressive racing tonight in these short races to see who can transfer into GNG's Oxford 250.
Now you've got a buddy there on the phone, I believe. I know you know a lot about this racetrack. You're very familiar with it, and we got a little bit of a special analyst with us here tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I have received word per source. Larry McReynolds will be participating in tonight's broadcast. He's really good at offering trends and live race analysis, so we'll make sure that Larry gets tuned in here at certain points of the race.
100% going to be a good one here tonight. 2 15-lap heat races. Tim made mention the winners transfer directly into the Oxford 250. Everybody else going on in it to the 35-lap feature tonight. Green flag laps only counting in that feature. No resets, no quick repairs, no tires, just balls to the wall racing. And we're getting ready to line them up here. Lining them up now. Souza and Lewandowski on the front row. And Jeff, you're familiar with all these drivers. You've been racing with them for now 2.5 seasons. Have you got an early pick for us, or what are we looking at here at Oxford?
I don't know. This is going to be tough. It's obviously the regular, the series regulars that have ended up here in the Consies. They're just kind of hard to believe that and I should clarify, most are here because they had to miss a race during the season. Something intervened, kept them from getting to the track. They're not out here because they're back of the pack racers by any stretch, and so that's gonna make it exciting. Cody LeBlanc was turning some fast laps earlier this weekend in practice. You've got Wyatt Alexander, not to be trifled with. I think I don't know if there's a favorite right now. Kyle Sousa's quick. Charles is fast. Dylan Kopech's quick. I mean, you go down that list. There's really nobody out here who would be a surprise.
Rolling down the grid now on the front straightaway, getting ready to rock and roll here for the first 15-lap heat race for the NEP Oxford 250 qualifying open here tonight. 35 laps on the board for that feature, but right now, before we get there, a pair of 15-lap heat races. I'm going to go push some buttons in the production trailer. Tim, I think you got it covered out here.
Yeah, see what we can do here. We're a lap and a half away from green. Kyle Souza, Charles Lewandowski, your front row. Dylan Kopech, Wyatt Alexander, row number 2. Jeff Perkins and Matt Kentfield, row number 3 with Jared Adams and Mike Alexander on the final row. And Mike Alexander had the small little misstep in qualifying, got the wall coming to the white flag in his qualifying effort. Was quick in practice, but will have to come from position number 8 at the back of this field. Aaron, with only 15 laps to get this done, he's going to have to hustle.
Yeah, there's going to be. I've been to some of the last couple Oxford 250s, and the heat races that they do. They're very short in length, and there's no time for error. As here we get ready for green.
Green flag going to fly, and the little bit of a bobble from the outside car. Wyatt Alexander quickly to the inside, going to try to pick up third, and we've got a battle here for the lead, and here comes Dylan Kopeck to the inside. Kopeck has had a couple of tough weeks the last couple of races, and Kentfield goes for a slide at the back. We stay green, but John, you know this guy that's running in position number 3 fairly well. What's he got to do to take the lead away here?
I think he's really got to wrap that bottom of the racetrack, which you kind of see in him do right here, running right on the curb. You can see how hard these cars are to drive. They're pitched right over on the right front. They're so heavy, and they don't turn very well, especially at a track like Oxford. So it presents a challenge to keep a car on the bottom like that, but I think you're going to see Wyatt try to keep it right there and march his way up to the bottom.
3 laps to complete this time by, and Dylan Kopeck will have the lead. Now Wyatt Alexander in second. Chalou going to move to position number 3. Little tap from the 4 of Souza. Alexander in the 75 NS going to work to the inside. And Jeff, you had to work your way into the 250 via points. The pressure is off you now, but if you're Wyatt Alexander, how much pressure is it for you now to try to lock yourself in through this heat race? Do you want to lock yourself in now or go to the feature?
I think you want to get a position any way you can at this point because there's nothing guaranteed. That was, I'll be honest, 4 points got me into the feature, into the big show, and there are no guarantees. These guys are fast, and if you miss that one guaranteed slot, you're right to the back. You could end up last. There are no guarantees.
Top 5 nose to tail. Dylan Kopeck comes across the stripe as the leader. Souza right on the back bumper of Alexander as they battle it out for position number 4. Winner is going to advance into the GNG Oxford 250 through this heat race. And Aaron, across flags next time by. We're going to be halfway. 7 down this time. 8 laps to go.
Clean and green so far, and like you said, single file right now. Very hard to pass with these heavy cars. But I think as the laps wind down, we're going to see some of these guys trying to make their moves. And as you can see, the 75, the blue car there, getting very loose there. And the 4 of Souza had to kind of check up a little bit. Now both of them are a little bit further back from the top 3.
Might have had a little bit of help from that 4 car, and he was tucked up tight to his back bumper. It is, I know, John, it's a fine line in the sim to try to get this thing to work around these corners, because especially at the start of these races, it's a one-group track as you're right on board with Kyle Souza, but you've had the real-life experience here. You've been around the block a couple of times. How hard is it to maintain a rhythm, especially over 15 laps, to try to keep that guy behind you?
It's really hard, Tim, but it's crucially important at a track like this that is built on rhythm and being smooth with the wheel and throttle. And you're seeing one of the gremlins of Oxford bite a couple of these drivers, and that's that big, thick curb you see around the bottom. As important as it is to hold it down there, that fine line really gets tricky when you get close to that curb, and if you just hit it in the slightest, it can really upset your car. And I think you saw that happen there with Mike Alexander and with Charles Lewandowski just the lap before. And you know what? It's the same way in real life, so these guys certainly have a big challenge tonight ahead of them.
And Alexander is beginning to lose touch with Dylan Kopeck up in front. Kopeck looks smooth. They'll come by this time and see 2 laps to go. The 4 of Souza continues to look over Alexander to try to move up. Keep in mind, these are for starting positions as well in the feature, minus the 2 winners, because they will go to the back of the feature field after being locked in to the GNG's Oxford 250 through the Lord Spotting Services qualifying night. 1 lap to go. Battle is going to be for third on back. Up in front, Dylan Kopeck trying to lock himself into the 250 and looking pretty sporty. Through 3 and 4, he'll come to the checkered flag, and Dylan Kopeck will go to the GNG Oxford 250. And close little battle there at the back, Jeff, between the 4 of Souza, the 50 or the 75 of Alexander, and they'll go to the feature with new race cars, but they're going to have some work to do here.
Oh yeah, they are. That's Dylan's got the cat. He's in the catbird seat right now. I mean, everybody else, again, there are no starting second, starting fifth. Doesn't really. I mean, it might obviously be better to start ahead, but you're not gaining anything guaranteed toward the finish. It doesn't guarantee you a fourth. It doesn't guarantee you a second to start third.
I'll tell you what, Tim. It's just sure going to be interesting to watch Magic Mike Alexander come from the back of the feature a little bit later on.
Yeah, he is going to be one to watch. It to come from the back of the heat race, and now pretty much going to have to do it from the feature. The finishing results on your screen for the first Lord Spotting Services qualifying heat race, and now we'll move to the second qualifying heat race. And John, you've raced with these drivers before, most of them. Who do you see as the driver to beat here in this one?
This is actually a really stacked heat race, and you have some real-life experience here at Oxford. I know Trent Goodrow and Cody LeBlanc have turned some laps. Adam Jocelyn's quite familiar with Oxford, as is Reagan Parent, so this is a really interesting mix of drivers. I think Reagan Parent's probably going to be tough to beat from that pole position, but I'll have my eye on Trent Goodrow there right behind him to see if he can make something happen.
And we talked about that driver in the 7NH, had a really good effort at Charlotte last week and gives that little bit of momentum to come in, was quick in practice. But Jeff, how much does practice mean when it comes to a race like this?
Jokingly, we're looking back at this summer's Oxford 250, and a driver, third and final practice, the driver who was fastest in practice didn't even make the final lineup for the field. So practice is practice. It's a controlled environment to an extent. I think Cody, if he can keep his nose clean, has a good shot of advancing, but he does have the real world experience here. He's run an action car here. In these big heavy cars, we'll see what he's got. He's a mini stock guy, but it'll be exciting to see what he can do on the. Oh, here we go.
And a little bit of nervous energy on that restart or that start, as they all seem to save it, except for Messer, who's up and over the bank and around in turn number 2. We stay green for the time being, and Parent going to take the lead away. We got a battle for about 4th on back, Aaron, and the top 3 look to be away. Well, as I say that, there goes 4th over the bank, and there's a caution.
Oh, boy. We got trouble right now. Yeah, Anthony Monroe from Texas doing some dirt tracking there on the outside. And I've actually had the chance to watch Anthony race when I went down to Texas for one of the short tracks. So be interested to see how he comes through the back of the field here when we get this race restarted.
Well, we'll take a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. Paul, what happened to put us under our first caution of the evening?
Yeah, it's great to see Colin Beerbong jumping on board, helping us out again with the instant replays here. There you can see the contact initially between the 32 and the 82. Little bit of rubbing doors, banging bumpers, so to speak. The 82 comes back around, tries to get back into the throttle, loses the back end of the race car, and there you can see he goes down into the beach and doesn't hit anything down there, so that's good. There's no walls or anything right in there. Able to grab a gear, hold on to it, get back onto the pavement, and continue on. Gonna have to restart in the back of the field here, back in 8th position, but still has a couple of laps to try and get himself back up towards the front to get a good qualifying spot for the feature.
They're going to work from the back of the field, back from position number 8. We are not counting caution laps, as we mentioned earlier. They'll double up here and be 1 to green, and Reagan will have the opportunity to look out and see DJ, and DJ has had an up and down season, John. I guess it's easy to say he's into the qualifying night for the Oxford 250, but has that outside starting position. He might have something for the newcomer to NEPs.
No doubt about it, and DJ is fast. Make no mistake, he can get around a racetrack. He's going to have his work cut out for him right here on the outside. We'll have to see what happens.
The fans are going to be hard for Gerard this evening as they go to the outside. The 17 gets a great start to the inside as Reagan going to drive it off of corner number 2. The 32, a Trent Goodrow, looking to that back bumper, trying to make something happen here. Aaron, the leader going to be away. The battle going to be for second, maybe, as the 13 fights back.
Yeah, I don't think this battle for the lead's just done yet. As Gerard's fighting for sure on the outside, but now here comes Goodrow to the inside, and I know John made that comment that he's got that experience at Oxford Plains Speedway, and it seems to be working out for him as he's getting ready to clear Gerard here for second spot.
We got one driver in behind with a little bit of connection issue, but it looks like it's rectified itself as the battle continues on for position number 2. Goodrow going to take that position away. Gerard in there for third, and we're 3 wide in behind as we got one car in the middle going sideways. That is the 02, and going the wrong way, and we're still under green, John.
Oh, wow. I think some connection issues may have caused that one. But what's interesting there on that restart, it cannot be understated just how good of a start that was by Gerard up on the outside groove. I mean, that is a high degree of difficulty to not go straight to the back. So the fact that he was able to tuck right back into third, I'd take that all day long if I was DJ, and now we're seeing him put some pressure on up front as we got a good battle all the way through.
Cody LeBlanc hasn't been able to move from position number 4 in these last couple laps. He's got the 82 of Monroe on the back bumper as they continue to battle. We're halfway home in this one, or just over halfway, 8 laps down and 7 laps to go. And Jeff, you're sitting here now trying to figure out what your move is to try to get into this race. If you're that battle for second, I believe you're DJ Gerard. You got to go now.
Yeah, there's no time like the present. I mean, you don't want to leave anything on the table. You kind of have to go. There's, your laps are ticking down. But Reagan's got a pretty good lead here. I think that's going to be hard to. He's going to have to make a pretty big bobble, and I mean, it doesn't take much. It could take just a little bit of curve, but Reagan's got a pretty good advantage right now in Trent Gaudreau. But it looks like he's going to have a chance to catch him right here.
That's the caution. The 7 and 8, Cody LeBlanc around. I believe he may have had a little help from the driver in front of him that they're just ended up in front of him. We'll cue up the instant replay. And Paul, a little pushing and shoving back here just outside the top 3.
A little pushing and shoving, but overall been a relatively clean night here so far. Taking a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. There's a 7 on the outside, the 82 coming in a little bit hot. You can see comes up a lane and a half or so, and there's a little bit of a help there from the 38 car getting in the back quarter panel of Corey LeBlanc. Adam Jocelyn sending that car around. Looks like he was able to pull over and kind of wave with all of his fingers. We can call it an apology. I'm sure that's exactly the communication that was, but the good thing here is no major contact or anything like that, no additional damage for anybody involved. So going to have to restart in the back of the field here with just a handful of laps to go, but no big-time damage for these guys.
And they are going to get back to racing here. We will complete lap number 11 this time. Field is already doubled up, and Reagan going to lead them back to green, but now DJ Gerard on his back bumper. Green flag flies. The 32 of Goodrow to the outside. It's now a battle for second, Aaron, and it's a feisty battle now for third. One goes around.
Yeah, another great restart for Gerard, but we might be calling them back here, and now he's going to get a chance to restart on the outside front row again, as that's Goodrow going around this time.
A good row around on the back straightaway, and there was a little extracurricular after that down in turn number 3, Paul. They're all trying to get those positions late in this heat race. What happened on the restart?
Yeah, we're going to take a peek at the 32. He's actually up in the front car on the outside line here. We'll take a look from the blimp, and you can see Messer down on the inside of the 82. 82 gives the 32 just a little bit of a bump. Almost hits the 7 car. The other car there doesn't look like he got a piece of him, and no contact with the wall there. 32 is able to grab a gear, keep on going. Tread Goodrow going to have to restart from 8th place here in the back, on the back 3-4 laps or so.
That's classic Oxford Plains Speedway right there. You come out of turn 2 and the track opens wide. You feel like you have all this room, and you saw that Trent kind of left a little bit of a hole there in the middle, and I think Monroe felt like that was his chance to get that position. Just like that, the hole closed and around goes Trent.
And now, John, you got Ryan Messer up here in position number 3, started, I believe, dead last in this heat race. What's he got to do to get himself in with 4 to go?
He's got to glue to that 17's back bumper and just try to hold it on the bottom, see if Reagan makes a slight mistake, and be ready to pounce.
The former Remax 250 champion at Speedway 660. We got a driver on the outside. DJ Gerard did not get going down into corner number 1, and he's going to be right on the back bumper of that number 1 of Messer as they battle it out for position number 2. But that's about all it is, Aaron. The leader driving away here, coming up to 2 to go.
Yeah, and I was thinking Ryan Messer might have something here coming out of nowhere, but yeah, it does look like the 17's pulling away. He's got about a car length and a half of comfort there, but they're slowly closing in. They might run out of time, though.
Messer made a great run at a 4 that last time. He's papered to the back bumper, little slide through 1 and 2. He'll get to the back bumper of the 17. Does he lick the stamp down into the final corner? They're going to come up to the checker flag this time. Messer is not going to be close enough, and Parent's going to go to the win. The 17 takes heat race number 2. Little slide across the line, and Ryan Messer, DJ Gerard, Nick Smith, Cody LeBlanc, and the rest will have to go through the feature. And we've got a quick little breather before we do go ahead with that feature. So Guys, what do we think so far? Jeff, 2 heat races in, 2 drivers have transferred. What do we expect in this feature?
Oh boy, I expect a lot more bench sheet metal than we had. I mean, the first, the heat you kind of have to survive. You have to make it, take what you can, get what you can, but this is your chance to make something happen. You have 35 laps, no cautions. I thought Messer kind of was handed a little bit of a gift there. I mean, he had a really rough start, and it looked like maybe he had a chance to capitalize. But Reagan was solid, and I got to give credit to Reagan. He's actually the second of the parents to race NEP. His brother Ray Jr., technically Ray Jr., raced the first couple races, I think, before Vidane and NEP partnered up, actually. So good to see another parent in the field. Rhode Island well represented tonight. But yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I mean, I'd like to, I'll bet we see some charging from the back, but this is good. I think it's definitely going to be a little more hot and heavy than we've seen so far.
So, John, this will put Wyatt Alexander and Ryan Messer on the front row for this start. 35 laps, no yellow flag laps counted, all green, long way to go. But we've got some drivers in the middle to the back of the pack that are going to have to go. I look at Mike Alexander. I look at Cody LeBlanc. Kyle Souza was good in his heat. DJ Girard going to start in 4th. There's 4 cars that are going to transfer. Yeah, there's some promoters options. 4 are going to transfer, and the rest are going to have to sit on their hands and hope they get a call from Corey Casagrande and say that you're in the 250. So who do you see as somebody at the start of this race that's got to go and make their way to the front?
I think you're all over it, Tim. I think Mike Alexander and Cody LeBlanc, they're in a bit of a hornet's nest, and certainly it's not an insurmountable deficit to overcome, but 35 laps is not a lot of time. So that's going to create a sense of urgency for those guys to make some moves quick and get up towards the front, because I'll tell you, here at Oxford, track position is so important. And like I said, there's not a lot of time. So I think Mike and Cody, certainly. That also then illustrates the importance of what Ryan and Wyatt did in their heat races. The decks were a little stacked against them. They fought through it, finished towards the front, and now they have that track position to get started here for the feature.
Aaron, this race is going to change with the blink of an eye. If something does happen, somebody makes a slip, probably somebody's heart is going to be broken with this one. No quick repairs, no tires. You start with the car that is on the racetrack with the tires that are on the car. What do you expect? Who ends up winning this thing, and who ends up getting their heart broke?
It's going to be tough because you got your favorites like Wyatt Alexander, who's got a ton of experience in the track position. But like you said, one move, whether it's a wrong move by the driver itself or someone else makes a mistake and it hurts you. With only 4 making the show, it's going to be really, really tough here over the course of this 35 laps. I definitely agree that we're going to see a little more beating and banging than we did in the heat races.
And some of the drivers that we're not used to seeing here on a Thursday night and the odd Tuesday throughout the season, they are going to have to get up on the wheel and try to make a name for themselves, per se. When it comes to that GNG's Oxford 250, you're going to have your top 20 that are already locked in. So, Jeff, I guess we'll call on you first. Who do you see out of here that you're kind of maybe shaking in your boots about if they make the 250?
I would be a little bit concerned for Matt Kenfield. Matt's a he's somebody who's been really established with the league. He's a very important part of this league, but I'm just concerned starting back there that he's going to have a long way to go. I'm looking down the field. I'm thinking he's probably the biggest risk, but at the same time, there's those promoters' options. Again, no guarantees there, but it would be. But yeah, if I'm Matt, I'm kind of nervous. I'm nervous like I would be right now. I think Charles Lewandowski will make it. I think Wyatt will do okay. I hope I don't jinx anybody, but I think it's going to be it may be a tall order for any of our invaders to make the field.
And all those guys that you mentioned have inside starting positions as the green flag flies for the Lord Spotting Services Hooligan Race, the final chance to race your way into the GNG's Oxford 250 for the NEPs Grand National Series, and one is already off the racetrack and did not hit the leaderboard. We stayed green, and great little battle here now for position number 2.
That's a tough break for Cody LeBlanc. He hooked a right going into 3 and then did make some hard contact with the chain link fence, so I fear that may have ended his night. We have some more spins in the back.
That one is going to trigger a yellow flag. The 82 of Anthony Monroe involved in that one. I believe the 23 might have also been around in turn number 3, along with Dylan Kopech in the 16. So our first caution flag of the evening flies on the 3rd lap of this race, and we'll head down to Paul and see what brought out that yellow flag. You got to get moving, especially in a 35-lap race, right?
100%, no time to waste here at Oxford, and these guys know that business is going to pick up here relatively quickly. Going to take a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay from the blimp. Keep an eye on that 82. You can see making a little bit of contact there with the 23, sending each driver around. There's a couple of guys going down into the beach. The 82 holding on down underneath the apron, or on the apron, underneath that white line down around the bottom of the racetrack. He's able to keep on going. A couple of drivers, a little bit of body damage back here. There you can see Kopech, the 23 car of Jeff Perkins as well. And Kopech is good. He doesn't have to worry too much. He won that first heat race automatically in the 250 here coming up. So he's just getting some practice laps in at this point. But everybody else going to have to restart in the back of the pack here. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I think the good, clean, kind of laid-back style of racing we've seen throughout the heat races might be in the past, might be in the behind us here, boys.
That sense of urgency might be starting to creep in, especially for some of those guys that have some work to do. We'll complete 2 laps this time by. We'll be back under the green flag, and Wyatt Alexander gets a great jump down into corner number 1. Charles Lewandowski moves into 2nd, and Aaron, we got a battle for 3rd.
Yeah, and media buddy of Jeff and I's, Kyle Souza, he kind of faded in that first heat race, but he came alive there on that initial restart. Now he's stuck on the outside, it looks like, and looks like he might have to find his way to the bottom here for too long.
They call that the Angels Expressway going up the high groove, but boy, it looks like the highway to hell right about now.
And there's no way to get in there. I don't see any opening. I don't see any hole. Alexander's going to occupy it in behind. We got one more trying to make the move. So give him credit, John. Kyle Souza's up there trying to make it work. He's put the boots on.
Yeah, it's just something you have to make the best of as you see him get down to the bottom. Great move there. The thing about the top is it almost entices you into driving the car harder, which at Oxford it's a bit counterintuitive, but that can make you go slower. So it's a good job by Kyle there to stay disciplined, wait for that hole, and then get right in so he can get back to work.
Little battle in behind, as I believe there's one car, that might be Smith on the outside line, stuck up there going backwards, as again, can't find that spot into the inside line. Kopech gives him a little shot in behind and moves him down one more, but status quo up in front. Aaron Wyatt Alexander continues to hold the point, and the freight train in behind, led by Charles Lewandowski.
You know, Wyatt was kind of my pick here, but this is going to get pretty heated pretty quickly, as 4th, I believe, is that lucky spot right there. So Mike Alexander, Souza, and a few others, they're trying to knock the door down and get their way into that top 4, but Gerard's really protecting the spot and trying to look for more. So then he is in a more safer position as he's really working on the back of Messer for 3rd.
And I think he sees those cars behind in Kyle Souza and the rest, knowing that he has to go. Souza got by Alexander. They mixed it up in their heat race, and now Alexander is stuck on that outside line. I think he's going to find a spot in the line in behind Monroe, but no, maybe not. He's still going backwards in behind. But now the battle is for that transfer position. The bubble spot is up for grabs. Jeff, the 4 of Souza, trying to find some way around DJ Gerard.
Oh, there's definitely a way, but it's the part that has a little horsey on the front of it. Unless Messer slips, and Messer has been shocking. I mean, he's been very fast in his limited appearances. He just recently joined NEP. He's been very fast, so, I mean, seeing him run out front here, not a shock. It'll be interesting. I think DJ has been known to use a bumper when necessary. I don't know how Kyle races, and I'll be curious to see what he does there.
Oh, big slide for Lewandowski. There he goes.
Oh. No, I was holding my breath. Nobody really hit him too hard, so he might be okay besides the track position he's going to lose. The caution flag flies one more time, and Paul, we talked about heartbreak and potentially somebody having to come from the back late in this race. He's still got some laps for Charles Lewandowski. He's got some work to do now.
Yeah, 100%, and definitely heartbreak. Running in a second here in the 01 car, and has nobody to blame but himself. You can see coming into the corner, just loses the back end of the race car. A little bit of contact there with Gerard in the 13 car, but everybody else parting the seas, able to go high, able to go low, make sure they get around, and Lewandowski does a phenomenal job staying put, making sure he doesn't come down in front of anybody trying to get around him. So a little bit of sheet metal damage on that 01 of Charles Lewandowski. Going to have to restart, though, back in the 15th position with about 20 laps to go here. So a tall order for Lewandowski for sure.
Definitely a tall order, but I'm, in the real Oxford 250 back in 2018, Kirk Gary had to basically start shotgun on the field in the Consi, drove through the field to win it. It was his only way to advance to the 250 because he wasn't eligible for a provisional that year. He was only running part-time and pass. So, is it possible? I don't know. We'll see.
And one of the things we want to keep in mind here, too, our heat race winners here tonight got the end of longest line. Not necessarily a penalty, but they got sent to the back of the pack for the start of the feature here. Kopeck up to 8th, Perrin up to 10th. Green flag in the air. We're racing once again, Tim.
And it's a side-by-side battle for position number 3 and a battle for the lead as well. Messer keeping on that right rear quarter of the 96 of Alexander. But now the 13 of Gerard going to work to the inside. Little contact there as they try to figure out that second-place position. As Gerard on board with DJ Gerard. And now back looking at that battle. John, the one thing that I might be concerned about here, obviously, when we come back here next week, we've got one around the 82. We're still green flag racing. He pulls to the infield, and there goes Sousa off of the back end. We are still staying green for the time being, but, John, that just cycled up the order. There is the caution flag coming out. We'll complete 15 laps before that caution flag flies, but again, there's another one of those bullets that some of these guys have to dodge that are going to the back.
Yeah, and what's so important, I think you're already seeing some of this play out a little bit, is the tire wear that comes into play at Oxford. I mean, it may look like these cars are going around this track at speed, but they're really only quarter to half throttle. And as you get deeper into these runs, these cars just get harder and harder to handle. We saw Lewandowski there have a self-spin. Even Messer got a little sideways as we're checking out the replay right here. It just looks like the 82 car. It's weird. You're going down the straightaway, but keep in mind at Oxford, you're always turning. So as you get deeper down the straightaway, the camber kind of tips off, the car gets over on the right rear, and it's real easy just to have it snap around on you.
And there you can see from the Kong of Beerbong instant replay from up to blame 2 separate incidences. The 82 losing the back end of the race car and the 4 car of Sousa making a little bit of contact, trying to get the thing straightened out, overcorrecting, and finding himself down in the beach. But good news here, no major contact with just about 20 to go.
So with that 20 laps to go, you mentioned, John, some tire strategy, but I kind of want to know the trends of the cautions, the way these are going to fall. Hooligan races can add up a couple of cautions. Can you dial up your friend?
Guys, I look back at the last 722 hooligan races here at Oxford Plains Speedway, and that average caution comes with about 5 laps to go. Tim?
Jeff, do those stats line up?
Sounds good to me. I mean, you can't doubt Larry Mack, can you?
I don't think we can. Green flag flies, and another great start for Wyatt Alexander. He's getting good at those starts, though. Juan Messer gets sideways, gets into the curb, does everything but get into the car on the outside of him there, and he's going to maintain position number 3.
And as I mentioned, that right rear is going to wear out, but so is that right front tire. And you're going to have to see some guys as we get a little bit deeper here start to keep their corner entries backed up to prevent against slipping up in the middle of the corner and letting someone up underneath you. And that's what a lot of these guys will start to struggle here as we get deeper into this race. It'll be interesting to see who can do the best job of holding that bottom groove.
So how hard do you drive this thing now, John, knowing that the tire wear could come into play, but you also have to manage, I got to try to get into the top 4, and if I'm on the outside, I got to get to the inside.
Yeah, it's all about managing the gap. If I'm in that top 3 right now, I'm pretty comfortable. I think those guys might want to consider just staying in that single file line and manage that gap back to 4th. Because as soon as they get racing hard, that's going to add wear to those tires. And then you get a caution, everybody stacks back up. Now you're at a disadvantage. So we'll see what they choose to do. But if I'm the top 3, I kind of keep it consistent, keep it right on the bottom, and stay single file.
And Aaron, they've kind of been the class of the field so far in this race. Alexander, Gerard, and Messer, they've been mainstays up front. We got 2 and 3 wide near the back of the field. Dylan Kopeck is making moves, trying to get into the top 4. And Aaron, keep in mind, he's already in through his heat race. So he's here to get a couple laps and try to see how this car works over 35 laps. But he's trying to get up here and win this race too.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job marching through the field, and just like some of these others trying to march through towards the front, like Lewandowski and Souza trying to get back up there. But yeah, I mean that's track time has to be important for someone like Dylan Kopech or Regan Parent, and Lewandowski's around again.
Charles Lewandowski around one more time in turn number 2. We'll cue up the replay, and Paul, the night keeps getting tougher for the Chalou Performance 0-1.
Yeah, 100%. We're going to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay and take a little look-see and see if we can figure out exactly what happened to that 0-1 car once again. There you can see in close proximity with that 4 car of Sauser. There you see the 38 getting himself a little bit sideways. 0-1 checks up just a little bit to make sure he doesn't get into the back of him, and that actually opened the door about a half a lap later for that 4 car of Sauser to try and get in there on the low side. Not quite enough real estate down there for 2 drivers to occupy the same spot. Sends Lewandowski around, no major contact. He grabs a gear, gets that thing spun around, pointed in the right direction. Gonna have to restart once again, though. Tail end of the pack here. Gonna have to restart 15th with less than 15 to go.
Okay, John, we head into that race next week, the GNG's Oxford 250. When we look at favorites, obviously I think you're one of the ones that everybody's kind of looking towards and saying, hey, I need to beat in order to win this race. So let's put the shoe on the other foot. Before we go green, top 20 are locked in. Who is your pick to be running up front near the end of that one next week?
I think Oxford experience is really important. I would look to Evan Boyer to be up right around the front, and then Ryan Libby as well. He's real good on the short tracks.
And especially with the momentum that Mr. Belvedere has, he is going to be tough to beat. Green flag flies. And once again, Jeff, another great restart for the 96 of Alexander. DJ Gerard tucks up tight, and Messer going to go to third. And then we almost have a little bit of a mess for fourth.
Yeah, we do. And keep in mind, Wyatt's got a lot of experience here at Oxford. He also has been running the last 2 seasons at a very similar track, Beechridge Motor Speedway down in Scarborough, Maine. He closed out, unfortunately, Beechridge will be has closed as of the end of last year. Wyatt won the last race at the track, so he's definitely got some experience on these 3/8 mile flat ovals, or as they like to call this, the world's fastest parking lot.
We've got one around. It's the 16 at Kopech. The caution flag flies. We'll go back and take a look at the replay, and I believe there might have been a little bit of a connection issue there that might have helped send Kopech around to bring out the yellow. Paul, what are you seeing or lack thereof?
The exact same thing you just said. There's a little bit of connection issue there for that number 16 at Kopech. You can see racing pretty closely here with the 17 Monster car. Gets a little contact and disappears there, comes back in, and he's pointed sideways in that Hams Welding Supra, but grabs a gear, gets going again. Going to have to restart towards the back of the pack, but no damage. No additional damage for Kopech in the 16.
So now we get going again with just under or just about 10 laps to go into this one. And Alexander seems to be holding down the fort up in front, Aaron. As Jeff said, he's got plenty of experience, and he's getting good at these restarts. Gerard has been good. Messer has seemed to pull away. So I guess the question is, can Goodrow lock up this 4th place effort? Can he get by Messer and put the pressure on him? What are we going to see over these final 10 laps?
Goodrow's doing a good job right now, but 10 laps, that's a long time when it comes to running here at Oxford, even though it's a short track. But anything can happen here because those guys that are outside those front 2 rows are going to be knocking on the door as we go back green. And Wyatt Alexander gets another great restart. Gerard just files right there into second. Probably keep playing it a little safe.
Goodrow drove it in deep on the outside, but Alexander gets to his inside down in corner number 3 and is able to put the 75 to position number 4. And now the 32 has to be on the offense and almost gets into the back bumper of that McDonald Automotive number 75. And that's going to be the battle for position number 4. But John, Larry Mack had mentioned it. The trends might see another caution here in the next 3 or 4 laps. So how hard do you push it now if you're in the top 4? And how hard do you push it if you're the 32, knowing you might have an inside restart?
Exactly, Tim. That's the catch-22 that's going to be so critical here. Do you sit there in 5th, get the last caution, and have the right track position, or do you don't take the risk? You go for 4th. You try to get yourself in now. It's a decision that also haunts people in the real Oxford 250, and I'm sure Trent Goodrow's thinking about that right now. But he's got all kinds of pressure from right behind, and now he's sideways.
and still sideways, and they're trying to hack save it back there. They will, but they are going to lose touch now with the top 4. Souza going to go to the inside and look to pick up position number 6, but he's going to need just a little bit more to get up here and battle with the top 4. They've broken away with 5 laps to go, and Jeff, do they have enough time from 5th on back to reel these 4 in?
I don't think so. I think at this point, though, keep in mind, we've only got a couple full-time NEP drivers outside of the top 5, outside of the top 4 right now. So this could be very well a fight for 5th, could be a fight for a promoter's option at this stage.
Yeah, get up on the wheel and get all you can here, Aaron, as the 4 trying to make that final move. And it looks like Alexander had a little bit of a slide at a corner number 2 to lose touch with Messer. The other Alexander, Wyatt Alexander, has DJ Gerard on the back bumper. This is going to get intense. I think these guys want to win this race, too.
Yeah, you always want to go for the win, but I don't know. I think there might come a point, though, where you're just going to be satisfied with second, potentially, and be locked into the show for next Saturday. And right now, these front 4 are breaking away with only 2 laps to go. Now, if someone in the back of the field spins, though, this field's bunched up once again. So definitely you can kind of see them dicing, and here we go.
Wow, there it is. The trends were close enough. We're going to see a restart to this one to crown the top 4 to get into the GNG's Oxford 250. 23, I believe, might have been slow. Oh, was it Kopech again, Paul?
You can't just automatically blame Kopech every time yeah, it was Kopech.
Well, I'm looking at the production. I'm looking at the production feed and I see one car. Go ahead. What happened?
Yeah, a little bit of contact here between the 16 and the 82. 17 got a little piece of it as well, and you can see the 82 right in the back bumper. The 16 into the back bumper. The 82, kind of a lazy half spin, just a little bit. Gets the thing going. Oh, right in front of the 43 car. He gets a good piece of the action. Dents the nose of the Jared Adams machine, but. Able to continue on. He's already locked into the big show here, winning that first heat race, and had a pretty good showing earlier on, but just kind of struggling here as we get a little bit further on into the feature here tonight. But, man, 2 laps to go. Shootout to get into one of the biggest races that we've seen here with the NEP series over the 3 seasons they've been here with Verdane TV. Business about to pick up, boys.
Yeah, business about to pick up as the field begins to form behind the pace car. I believe the lights are still on, so we'll have another lap and a half or so before we go back to green. And it's been a tough sled for Dylan Kopech. I guess it's the best of both worlds, John. You lock yourself into the 250, but you're a hard time in this Conti. I guess he's learning something for the feature next week, right?
Yeah, sure, and I think we see this in real life too. Even though you're locked into the feature, it's the Oxford 250. Everyone's going to be competitive in those qualifying races, and I think you've seen that from Dylan tonight. Guys, if I'm Mike Alexander, I am nervous right now. We just saw how aggressive Adam Jocelyn will be to get in this race. He's hitting 5th, Alexander's 4th. This is the time to go. This is the time to make the race right here.
Pace car is going to peel off. We're going to complete 34 laps, so this might be the white here as well as they come by across the stripe. Green flag flies, and Alexander is gone up in front, and Mike Alexander pushed 3 wide in the middle of the pack, and they're going to come down to the stripe this time, and Wyatt Alexander is going to go to victory lane. Boys in behind, it's going to be a mess. DJ Gerard, the one of Ryan Messer, and did Jocelyn get it at the line? Being scored is Souza in position number 4. That was a finish.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
Well, maybe that one time.
Guys, Kyle Souza just made an epic charge on the outside to get that final spot in GNG's Oxford 250. What a drive by that beautiful number 4 car. Crucial moment he delivered.
Paul, I don't know if we can get one more look at that battle for the transfer spot on that one lap, because he was, meaning Souza was 6th, coming to the green flag, and he was able to I don't want to say muscle his way in, but Alexander went a little bit high. He might have had a little bit of help, put his way to the inside, and it looked like Jocelyn was going to have the position, or at least have an opportunity to work his way in, Paul. But this was a battle.
Yeah, 100%. We'll take a peek here at it from the blimp here, and you can see already 3 wide. There's contact, banging bumpers. Mike Alexander loses a spot down on the outside in that number 75 car. Here's the 4 trying to get around Messer, and just about 18 different cars going for the same piece of real estate, and crossing the start-finish line, everybody just kind of lets go of the wheel, and we're down here on the beach. So great finish. Congratulations to the top 4 drivers, Alexander, Gerard, Messer, and Souza. I'm going to try and talk to all 4 of these drivers here in the post-race show. They're racing in the big dance here next Saturday for the GNG's Oxford 250.
And as we alluded to a little bit earlier, the 2 heat winners, Perrin and Kopak, will be in as well. And then a couple of these drivers, by the sounds of it, give or take a couple, will be in the show. They'll get a call from Corey Casagrande and say that you're in. But we also have another race to contend with this week as the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series heads to, I believe, Las Vegas. So we have some racing in between this one and the GNG's Oxford 250. But John, I believe if what we saw here is any indication, this is going to be a good show next week.
I sure hope so. I think you're going to see a really interesting race dynamic play out. You know, how hard do you push on a short run, but make sure you're there in a long run. Oxford's such a tricky, meticulous, finesse racetrack. Creates a lot of problems for drivers and makes you really think. And it's a long race, right? So we'll have to see who can play these cards right, be there at the end, and then have enough tire left to shine.
And I believe we have our top 3 in here. And John, since you know him, since you've raced with him, and you've been on the radio with him a couple of times, let's get you down to Victory Lane with our winner, Wyatt Alexander.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I'm down here in Victory Lane with Wyatt Alexander, who just really put on a clinic at a track he certainly turned a lot of laps at in real life. Wyatt, you had that great run in the heat race to set yourself up with a good starting position, and then you led from green to checker and kept it on the bottom. Was it as simple as it looked? Wyatt, can you hear us?
Speechless.
He's so excited he's speechless. I think we're going to work on getting Wyatt back. Wyatt, can you hear us now?
Hey guys, you got me?
Hey, we got you now, Wyatt. So let's circle back to that question, right? You led start to finish, you kept it on the bottom, led every lap. Was it as simple as it looked?
Well, that's the funny part about Oxford. It always looks that simple, but just being able to keep a race car wrapped around the curb like that and stay that dedicated to the bottom is quite the task at the old Oxford Plains parking lot. So it was a bit tough. It was, definitely keeps you on edge to stay that committed, but it worked out.
Now, you had a couple challenges there because we had some cautions that were thrown in the mix. You had guys like DJ Gerard, Ryan Messer. Certainly earlier in the race, you had some challenges from Charles Lewandowski. Did you sweat at all in any of those late rate restarts, or did you just kind of know you were in a good spot staying there at the front of the field?
Yeah, I know I needed to be in a good spot. That's what's fun about racing with this series is it reminds me a lot of touring around in real race cars and being and being able to go to places like a Speedway 660, for example, and getting experience at a place like that a lot to be thrown into those situations where you have guys like that breathing down your neck. So I can't say enough about racing against guys like that at 660 and just being in that environment and keeps you cool under pressure in the Canadian woods.
All right, so last question here before we get you to thank some people. Looking ahead, next Saturday is GNG's Oxford 250. You just had basically a 35-lap practice session. How do you feel going into the big dance?
Feel pretty good. Obviously now I have a lot of laps under my belt in the Xfinity car at Oxford, so that's going to be a really big benefit. And, just go out there and see what we can do. A lot of good competition. Especially my fellow 229 teammates are going to be tough to beat. But I think it'll be fun.
All righty, and who'd you like to thank that helped you get that beautiful red and white 96 machine to the track?
Well, the primary group is the 229 Autosport fellas. So thank everybody there. And just thank, Vidane TV and TCM and everybody that puts this show on for us, Corey and, NEP for letting us have some fun over the winter. And looking forward to GNG's 250.
There you have it. Wyatt Alexander wins the Lord Spotting Services Oxford 250 opener. Tim, back to you.
Let's kick it down to Jeff Brown. I believe he's down pit row with that 13 of DJ Gerard coming home position number 2 tonight.
Indeed, and the funny thing is, I actually had the chance to interview DJ back when he won the NEP Super Truck Series opener debut for that, and DJ second place, but it looked like you were trying for one more at the end. DJ, how feisty were you about to get for first place there?
I actually wasn't. I actually apologized to him over game chat. I was definitely not trying to get into him. I knew I was in a good spot there, riding in the top four, and was just honestly trying to lock myself in. I hated that I got into him. I'm glad I didn't knock him out or spin him or anything, and he was still able to pull off the win because I don't think I had much for him.
Now, obviously you were pretty well set for this event. I mean, a second place is nothing to sneeze at, and you take this into the big 250. How do you feel now about your speed for the big dance?
Not bad. I think if we get some long green flag runs, it'll definitely mix it up. Tire fall off was big just from a 35 lap run, so with only 2 sets of tires in the big race, it'll be interesting to see who manages their tires and who takes them when.
Great. Thank you, Tim. Back to you, and we'll talk to, sounds like we're going to talk to, looks like Ryan's in here.
Yeah, we'll see if Aaron Creed can't get over with the one car of Ryan Messer, third place finisher tonight.
I am over with Ryan, and Ryan, you're a relative newcomer to NEP. We saw you last Thursday have a pretty strong run going, and but managed to pull it off, and you're in the Oxford 250 show. How exciting is that?
It's pretty exciting. I get invited to try out for it, and just had to try and save my stuff for the whole race, and just tried to ride in third and let whoever was restart in second, just tried to leave them down because you restart on that outside and pretty easy to get left hanging. So a little bit risky because you never know how eager the guy in fourth is to try to get away from that transfer spot. So or from the bubble, I guess. So no, but we made it work and we're in the show, so it should be pretty fun.
And with that last restart coming with just a lap or two to go, and being in the second row, was it nerve-wracking, or were you feeling fairly comfortable and confident?
I was a little worried, but not too bad because I know it's pretty. You can get a pretty good jump usually. Like there'd be about at least a car length or so ahead if you didn't spin the tires or nothing like that. So I knew going down into one, I'd have a little bit of a buffer, enough I think. So no, I knew that last restart, everybody was going to try and get everything that they could, and it got pretty hairy. But I think third or that inside line, those first couple of rows was the sweet spot. So I was lucky enough to be there.
And now for the how are you feeling for 250 laps next weekend?
That'll definitely be a long one, I think. In these cars are very, very touchy at a track like this, but they are a lot of fun. So. I know the inside is going to be the dominant lane, so it'll be different to see if you get stuck on the outside. Like your race can go south pretty quick, so I think it'll definitely be interesting and a lot of fun.
Anyone in particular you'd like to thank?
I'm going to thank all my real racing sponsors: the Waterfront Pub and Eatery, Dana's Collision Center. Northeast Distributors, Speedy Auto Services, Cabin Restaurant, Kojak's Petro Canada, Watson's Home Hardware, Moffitt's Convenience Plus, Thunder and Lightning Motorsports, Castrol Racing, Excel Manufacturing, Bumper to Bumper, Wonder Muffler, MC Hammer. I just want to give a shout out to all of them for all that they do for our race team, and this is just a way to get them out there a little more during the off season. I want to thank Brent and Corey and all the guys from the NEPs series for putting this on and inviting me to run with them, and all you guys at Vidane for broadcast the race. I know I got a lot of family members that are sitting at home watching, so thank you guys as well.
All right, that's your third place finisher in tonight's 35-lap feature, Ryan Messer.
Great effort by the top three, and the four trying to make their way into the race. Kyle Souza getting his way into position number 4, but that's going to do it for the Lord Spotting Services qualifying night to get into the Oxford 250. Final thoughts, John. First of all, this show is going to be phenomenal next Saturday, but now we shift back to points racing, no pun intended, for this Grand National Series. What do we expect on Thursday night?
Well, Thursday will be interesting. I think you're probably going to see a similar race than what we had. Was it Monday night? I can't remember the nights. Our last race at Charlotte last week. Was it? Yeah. It's a 1.5 mile worn out track. Holding the bottom is going to be really important. But I think at Vegas you can work in some multiple grooves and make that a little bit more of a racy track. So it should be fun. We'll get a little short track breather and head out to the West Coast. And then we'll really change gears again and come back here to Oxford. So that's the fun part about the schedule that we have. There's a lot of diversity, and it brings out a lot of different skill sets out of the drivers in the series. So it should be fun to watch, no doubt.
Jeff, what are you going to take from tonight that you'll be able to apply in about a week and a half or so for the GNG's Oxford 250?
Oh boy, I think survival is going to be key for that one. You've got 250 laps. You can't, obviously, all the cliches apply. You can't win it on the first lap. You can certainly lose it. It's going to be I really don't expect a battle of attrition though. I think we've got some really clean racers, some really devoted racers who aren't going to screw around. They aren't going to destroy their cars right off the bat. We'll have a couple, but I don't think you're going to be able to count on just marching your way back up into a lucky 14th place. You're going to have to earn it.
Aaron, Wyatt Alexander wins the battle tonight, but can he come and win the war next week when we go racing at Oxford?
Oh, I think he certainly can. He definitely showed that he was one of the cars to beat tonight. And even though we didn't have the top 20 in points in the field tonight, Wyatt's been one of the front runners when he has been able to run throughout the season. So he's certainly going to be one of the favorites, as well as the ones that we talked about, Evan Blue and John Peters and all of the front runners. It's going to be a pretty stacked field for 250 laps next Saturday, and I'm looking forward to following along.
It's going to be a fun show next Saturday, but before we get there, we go to Vegas for the NEPs Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. That'll be on Thursday here on Verdane TV. But Paul, Wednesday night, doubleheader again. Loose Lug's going to join us at around 9 Eastern. But beforehand, we've got a busy Tim's Corner Live. It's not necessarily busy. It's a one-guest show. We're going to chat with the Oval Outlaw Wayne Smith, multi-time maritime champion and co-owner of Petty International Raceway, to get his thoughts going into the season. So doubleheader coming up tomorrow night on Verdane.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night. The kicking off the round of 8 for the Loose Lugs Cup Series, getting closer and closer to crowning themselves a champion. Their championship race going to be on January 26th, live from Homestead, Miami, here on Verdane TV. We've got the Tim's Corner Motorsports Show tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. Haven't had a chance to talk to Wayne Smith at all personally, but man, oh man, have I heard some stories, and I'm really looking forward to sharing the booth, so to speak, sharing the Zoom call with him tomorrow night, and learning some of that delicious race facts and history and all that good stuff from the Maritime Canadas. But then we're Thursday night back here, points racing once again for NEPs Shift Grand National Series, the Shift Marketing Design Grand National Series at Las Vegas. NEPs Bets jumping on board for the event sponsorship. Obviously, it's Las Vegas. Got to get into the gambling, and if you're looking to have yourself some fun, jump over on the old Twitter machine, do a quick search for NEP Bets, and as well as at NEPI Racing, and just follow along with some of the trash talk that these guys do throughout the week before each and every race. All in good fun, but man, oh man, is it entertaining. It's a lot of fun to see a lot of these guys drivers, or a lot of these guys fans chime in as well. So pretty cool to check that out. And a busy month here for the rest of January here on Verdane TV. January 9th, Sunday, getting kicked off next Sunday, as a matter of fact, at noontime Eastern, the Tim's Corner Motorsports, Jim Hallahan, 333 at Bristol. That's going to be a lot of fun. Wednesday night, the doubleheader, NEPs for the next handful of Thursdays, going to be kicking it off, and then January 24th, 25th, the TCM Mid-Season Classic, going to be kicking that off as well, and a couple of races kind of sprinkled in throughout, mostly NEPs kicking it off here for the month of January, and well, I guess we'll see where we land here in February, but lots of racing action coming up here on Verdane TV. Lots of stuff in the works as well, so be sure to follow us along on all the social media outlets. We're on Facebook, Verdane TV. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. I'm on Twitch, Strictly94. Timmy, you're on Twitch now too. Tim Terry 0, I believe, correct?
Yeah, we did a little bit of a producer, race director's cut last night, and hopefully, if I can get my wheel figured out, we're going to do some ATS here sometime this week. So, yeah, get on that, get over there, and excited for Sunday as well. You mentioned that Jim Hallahan 333 sign-up's still open. We're at 34 or 35 entries. Was talking to Tyler Hallahan. I've never seen him so jacked for a sim race before. So, looking forward to Sunday.
100%, and lots of cool stuff. Be sure, again, to check us out on all the social media outlets. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let your friends, your family, your sponsors, your neighbors, your dog, let them know you watch some entertaining iRacing action here on Vidane TV. But that's going to do it for us. In and out, quick and dirty here. It's just after 9 o'clock on the East Coast here. We're going to play a little bit of Grand Theft Auto over on my Twitch, Strictly94, if you got nothing better to do. But for myself, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., down in the production trailer and the entire booth, Aaron Creed jumping on in, Jeff Brown, John Peters, Tim Terry, and all of the sponsors for this event. Man, really looking forward to the Oxford 250. We got ourselves a points race here at Las Vegas on Thursday. Before we get there, though, be sure to check these guys out on Facebook, New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series Season 3, and we're carrying the action here on Vidane TV. But that'll do it for us. We will catch you on the flip side. When we do, we're going to be doing it live.